What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again. We got ourselves the next Brawl Stars video. We are going to be busting out yet another balance update video for you all today. I cannot even believe it. We had one last week and now we have it this week. So big shout out to Supercell for putting in a lot of work to make these brawlers even better. So let's talk about why they went ahead and did this balance. It looks like they put a lot of emphasis on the win rates versus the actual usage rates, which I think that it was, definitely a bad part of that on Supercell. But now they have revamped their strategy as far as balancing the monsters and looking at the user rates at all trophy ranges here. So this would be pretty unique. And of course, we cannot forget the fact of the community feedback. I do think that I've seen a lot of different influencers in the Brawl Stars community providing a little bit of feedback on their channel. And I do think listening to that as well as some of the feedback that we're seeing on the forums has definitely played a role in what we are seeing in the updates today. So first and foremost, let's talk about the unit that everybody's wondering about. Is she gonna get a nerf? Yes, she is. Miss Shelley did get a pretty substantial nerf here. Reload time increased to 1.5 from 1.25. The main attack range is going to be losing one full tile, and then the main attack shells are spread a little bit farther apart. So if you're trying to do a little bit of a poke with her skill, you're not going to be able to have the luxury of getting, landing 2 shells on her. Probably going to be 1. But yeah, that's a pretty big hit for Shelley, but rightfully so. I felt like she was just so good in most of the game modes there, and for somebody to be so well rounded yet to be a common brawler, I feel like it definitely needs to be a little bit more balanced. Here's a crazy thing about it: even though I wanted it to be more balanced, on the flip side, I was really excited for the people that are early into the game or maybe haven't had the fortune enough to pull some of the epic and legendary brawlers. They had an option of using Shelley, which of course just kind of helped them keep up with some of the people that have some of those exceptional brawlers or even some skill ups on those brawlers. So at the very end, I knew it had to be done, but I was okay with it because again, there's a lot of people that can benefit from having Shelley if they weren't fortunate enough to pull a different brawler here. So overall, though, great improvement on her. I'm curious to see how it goes for people and what your guys' opinion in. Put it in the comment section down below. Piper is the next one up here for the buffs here. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a decrease here, a nerf with the damage decrease from 440 from 460. And then, of course, the super damage decrease from 200 or 200 from 300. So let's talk about the main attack. I mean, honestly, Piper at max range was doing 575 damage with full skill ups. So considering the fact that the majority of the brawlers now, because of the recent change on Rico having 600 health, I mean they're gonna be able to, she's not gonna be able to one shot anybody. She's gonna have to 2-shot. Even with the nerf on this skill, I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference because again, there wasn't a situation after the post Rico buff that she was gonna be able to one shot. But of course, given the fact that at the level that I'm playing now with regards to like 100 to 120 trophies or whatnot, I feel like the skilled Pipers and the combination of their teams and synergy, they're going to be pairing up with another long-range unit in certain stages that's going to be able to capitalize on the low health from doing damage on Piper and letting somebody else fill the void to take it out, or vice versa with somebody like Cold or Ricochet doing a little bit of necessary damage and then Piper picking them off for that KO. I feel like even though the change was a nerf, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference on Piper because again, the damage is pretty substantial. The super damage though decreased from 200 to 200 from 300. I get it. Like with regards to Piper, if you get it, right in line and they get right in between all 3 bombs, that's a decent amount of damage there, 300 damage, and that's just the basic one. It gets skilled up there, and it can do, an absurd amount of damage. However, when I think about the gameplay that I currently do right now, I honestly rarely get in a situation where I'm literally waiting to the very end to where they're going to be able to get in that position to do it. Generally speaking, when I see them coming, I'm going to try to get a little bit of a head start so that by the time the bombs drop, they lead into it. But honestly, I haven't gotten to too many situations where I'm using the super all day. That's the funny thing about the recent change with regards to Brock. With Brock having that awesome super now, I find myself using Brock a little bit more than I would in the past. Not just for the fact that he got the buff, but just for the fact that both of his skills are going to be, in an offensive format. Whereas Piper, yes, having the escape is really useful, but I'm generally in a position where I'm not going to get in that one-on-one like head-to-head match here. I'm keeping my distance. I'm letting my team do what they're supposed to do. So again, while the nerf, was I guess justified by the community or by Supercell, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference from my end, because again, I'm generally not in a situation where they're gonna be able to. I'm gonna wait so long that they're gonna be able to land in all 3 bombs and take a lot of damage. Now, let's not get it twisted. 3 bombs for 200 damage is a substantial amount, so anybody that's relatively weak or low on health can still get knocked out. I don't think it's going to make a crazy amount of difference, but again, if I had to make a nerf, if they thought it was too much, maybe down to like 225, 250. But again, I don't see everybody landing all 3 bombs unless they're just like chasing at the very end like a smash and grab, and so it's they're just going to run right into it, whatever. But let's take a look here. Jesse is the next one up here. Jesse with the badass buff. Yeah, buddy. We got a main attack damage increase from 160 to 140 here. The super rate of fire is improved. Scrappy, her turret, and now shoots faster. We got the time in between shots is going to be reduced down to a quarter of a second, and then the bullet speed increased by 33%. Nothing bad to say about this particular change. I do feel that it was a nice change overall, and now you definitely will see Jesse in more stages of the game, whether you're mid game, late game, whatever. Like, you're gonna see Jesse as a staple for specific compositions. I think now, because of the fact that I feel like the bullet speed increase was by far, out of everything, I thought it was like the biggest thing right there. With regards to her pass speed and whatnot, I still felt like, at the speed that the brawlers can move, she just couldn't keep up with it. It wasn't fast enough. So now with the increased time and the shots in between, like the fact that she's shooting faster, there's going to be a little bit more of a chance for her to take some units out, and then of course regain her super so that she can be ready to go. Combine that with the recent nerf, reducing her increase on the 12.5%, generating the super there. I do feel like it's a nice little balance here, and we're going to see a lot more Jessies. Here. All right. Crow is the next one up. Now, of course, I do not have Crow, but let's go ahead and talk about it. Both the main attack and the super damage have increased to 80 from 60, and if I recall correctly, it's 4 damage per skill up, per elixir skill up, right? So maxed out on the spikes, it's going to be about 100 damage with that skill, and then of course 100 damage over time, ticking for 20 for what's that, 5 turns or 4 turns? Yeah. So with regards to Crow here, it looks like a lot of people gave feedback for quite a long time now, and they're finally listening to it. It had some decent amount of initial damage, but it just could not finish the job when it was getting done. So now every time Crow connects, he's going to be doing a little bit more damage, so it's going to be nice. Again, though, if I recall correctly, Crow's if you hit Crow multiple times, I believe the poison will reset, but it will not stack, so it won't be overwhelming, but it still will be a decent amount of damage if you can get 2 hits. So if we're looking at 2 hits right at 100 a pop, with that damage over time of 100, we're looking at a substantial amount for some of the weaker brawlers out there. So I think overall it's going to be good. I'm curious to see if some people will be more apt to like get a little bit more aggressive with Crow, because now with the damage increase and whatnot, there might be a little bit more reason of trying to time your skills a little bit better, and so you can try to land more than 1 spike. Overall, though, I like the change on it, and it's good. It's a good direction that they're going with Crow. Next one up, Dynamite here with the main attack damage increased to 180 from 160 per Dynamite stick, and then the super big damage, the bomb, increased from 500 to 540. And then, of course, last but not least, here we got the attack and super projectiles deploying faster, with the explode time decreased to 1.4 seconds. So, I mean, nothing really bad to say about this. Dynamite was one of those brawlers that I felt like was used quite a bit at my stage, right, in the 100-125 range of trophies, but now there's going to be even more reason to use it, especially for those objective stages, the smash and grab, the heist. Obviously, bounty is going to be staying away from showdown. You can make an argument for now because you're going to be able to cast some stuff faster. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to playing around with Dynamite and showdown, to be quite honest with you, because of the damage being increased. It's going to assist in taking out those power-ups so you can get those skills right away, and due to the recent balance change, having that 10% or 15%, spoiler alert, having the 15% from the previous one get changed so that it can do more damage with the power-ups. There's even more of a reason to use some of these brawlers that can do a decent amount of damage. And the fact that Dynamite skills go over obstacles, you know, in some of those crazy obstacle maps, like, this is going to be great for Dynamite. I see a lot of people are going to be able to take advantage of this here. Next one up here, this has to be my one to watch here when it comes to all the brawlers that are getting changed here. Barley is the MVP with everything that they have done thus far with regards to this skill up here. I was very, very impressed here. Let's take a look at it. Main attack and super damage increased to 140 from 120 per tick, so giving it a little bit more DPS there. And then here's the crazy thing. Main attack bottles fly 16% faster, and the super bottles fly 8% faster. Looks like they say they're beefing up his firepower, should make it more viable in every game mode. Here's bottles felt a little too slow before, and now they are punchier. Okay, let me give my 2 cents on this. They made a comment that says Barley is more viable in every game mode. Now, here's the deal. With regards to the brawlers and the way they're created, the uniqueness and whatnot, while I want brawlers to be very good, you know, in most stages, I don't want it to be to the point where Barley is the new Shelley, where Barley is like the one that everybody can use in every single stage because it's just so good. Heist, Barley is the MVP, you know, second to none. Smash and grab is still going to be a great option for crowd control, and then of course doing some good damage or whatnot here. When it comes to showdown, with the recent change in the power-ups, Barley is a viable option now. And so when I think about that, and then of course bounty, yes, you can make an argument that it's not going to be too good on all bounty, but again, the fact that you're just casting, I mean, it's not a small nerf. 60% faster, if you guys haven't gotten a chance to test it out, that is a pretty substantial amount. And if you are a joystick user, I mean, your accuracy on these shots are going to be a little bit better, which is going to make it harder for the opponent to really get close to you if you play the, you know, kiting game or whatnot. So overall, I'm really happy for this nerf, but I honestly think Barley is the new Shelley. Barley is not only a great brawler now, but I think now he's a little bit more on the OP side. I probably reduced the main attack bottles instead of 16% to maybe like 10 to 12%. Even an argument for bringing it down to 8%. I feel like the 16% was a pretty high amount there. I'd probably reduce it if I had the chance here, but again, I can't complain. They are mixing and matching the brawlers here, and they're listening a little bit more to the community. So I'm looking forward to seeing your call, you know, comment section down below. Put it down there. Let me know, is Barley the new Shelley? That's what I want to hear from you guys, okay? Next one up here, we have Bo. Bo reload time decreased from 1.7 seconds to 2. I do agree with this. I thought his his reload time was pretty bad, and that's a substantial amount. It wasn't like a 0.1 second. It's actually a decent decrease there. So again, even though it is a decent decrease, am I going to be able to notice a difference like that? We'll have to see. When I played him early on today, showing you guys the gameplay, I did not notice all too well. Like it seemed like, you know, overall the same to me. But again, it is a change for the better, so I am happy for the Bo users out there that really enjoy the brawler to use it in those situations where you do want to crowd control and get those skills right away. Colt, main attack bullets fly 9% faster, and the range increases to 10.66 tiles there from 10 tiles here. So this is really nice. Like they make here in the argument, Ricochet had the outranged Colt here, so now Colt's going to be pretty you know, balanced when it comes to if you want to go Colt or Ricochet here. And then of course, now with the fact that his bullets are flying a little bit faster, if you have that really good accuracy, you're going to be able to land those skills or land those bullets and get some damage on the ball, so you can get your super right away. When it comes to Colt versus Ricochet here, the fact that now the range is a little bit more balanced. If I were to have to go back and forth between the two, of course, there's going to be stages where you know, you have to deal, you know, you're going to have to deal with more obstacles, and you may benefit if you're really good with Ricochet. But I personally am a big fan of having Colt over Ricochet, just for the simple fact that Colt's super can blow through the obstacles. Being able to you know, hide from the obstacles on your you know, from your opponent's side of things. I mean, that's what they use at this stage of the game. And where I'm at, like, everybody's using the obstacles to the advantage. So if you got somebody like Colt, they're not going to be able to hide from it. I'm a big fan of that skill over Ricochet. So even though Ricochet is a great brawler, like if I had a choice between Colt and Ricochet, I'd probably use Colt now that their ranges are pretty decent here. So next one up, we got Bull here, reload speed to 1.6 from 1.5. They simply state that because of the change on Shelley, they had to make his attack speed reload speed a little bit slower, just to not, overwhelm and be like, the new Shelley when it comes to, that reload time or whatnot here. So overall, Bull is going to be the same old Bull. Nothing's really going to change. I don't notice a difference when they make a 0.5 to 0.6, change, whatever like that. So I think that's going to be the same overall. Last but not least, we have the game modes changing with regards to Showdown. It looks like they took it back with regards to what they said. They went from 15%, they went up to 50% in the last update. Now they decreased it down to 10%. So this will be pretty interesting. Again, we're going to be able to do some pretty good damage here. And of course, with the recent changes on some of these brawlers here, they're going to be a lot more viable in that Showdown stage. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. All right. So again, let me know what your feedback is, with each particular brawler here. Which one are you excited about? Which one are you not? Which one do you feel is the one to watch? Do you agree with me? Is Barley the new Shelley? I think it is. I want to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Put it down there, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from you later today. That is it. I am done. It's your boy Childish, your ChildishPlays. Checking out. Take care, and we will see you all next time. We're out.